Unsyndicated presents What the Puck with Sean Baligian.
Fantastic. He's Mike. I'm Sean. Originally, we were supposed to do this down my basement, but to be honest with you, I didn't want to set up the camera and all that stuff. Mike and I did some beef short ribs. We did some sausages that, Mike, were very average. We always appreciate the effort that others make, but they were very average. What was it called? The bacon cheeseburger sausage or something?
Yeah, it was the bacon cheeseburger. And once again, I think we're now 0 for 4 on bacon sausages.
It's a factual statement. It really is. We need to make our own and just load it up. Just load it up with, like you said, make it 3/4 bacon and like 1/4 the sausage, so to speak.
Yeah, I think I made a promise that when I retired, I was going to get a sausage making machine. Once I get my crap together, maybe that'll be a purchase this summer.
Pretty good day for hockey, though, pal. Is that a fair
yeah.
statement? Pretty good day. Pretty good day for hockey. Yeah,
Absolutely. You got off work just in time for me to meet you for 3 straight overtime games. I'd say that's pretty good.
Where do we even begin? Let's start with this before I send this stuff out. One semifinal is 10:40 on Friday. It is Canada taking on Finland, and the U.S. is taking on Slovakia at 3:10. Mike, neither one of those games are going to be easy. Let's face it. I think everybody and their brother's been planning for U.S.-Canada rematch. Neither one of those games are going to be easy. Let's be honest.
No, not at all. I mean, Finland didn't look its greatest today. I mean, the Swiss really bottled them up, took away their speed, took everything away from them, except for the last 8 minutes of the third period in overtime. Slovakia has slowly but surely just done their thing, Sean. I mean, they've got some guys that can play. They're one of these teams that don't have a ton, obviously, of NHL experience like the U.S. and Canada, but they're not going to make life easy. They're going to make it miserable on you. I
really like the way that Slovakia is playing. I really do. And yes, a big part of that is Slavkovsky. I'm not going to lie. No hiding of that. And if you want to call me a slapdick, go right ahead. But I think his play in the National Hockey League the last month, and certainly his play so far in this tournament, Mike, kind of dictates that high praise.
Yeah, he's exactly what we want to see. He's youth. He's getting after it. We love his shot, obviously, with our Habs. You know, we like seeing him shoot the puck. He's got a great shot. He can do it on the offensive end. He's got a little bit of grit to him, and I think that's a lot of what you'll see with the Slovakia team. And they're going to try to do. You don't have to do much to bottle up the U.S. We were talking about it today. They really like to try to just get that puck in on net and win that dirty area in front.
Let's start there. It was Mike. I have no problem saying this. You and I were talking about it, watching it, and I was texting with the guys from Woodward about it. It was a very, very boring first period. And it was one of those games where, Sweden was playing so well. And in my opinion, Mike, I thought they really, really started to come on in the third period to the point where you were like, all right, it's not a question of are they going to get one, but rather are they going to get two?
Yeah, enough to where I laid a bet on Sweden to win in overtime while that was going on. And, oh, boy. Sorry, just check the score out real quick. And it did. But, again, with it, the U.S. made really that one mistake we said. The first time they really gave them room is when they let Raymond skate in the offensive zone with the puck. They all kind of geared towards him. One guy was late shifting up. Perfect pass to Zibanejad, one-timer, and that was about all the room they had all night. The only other guy that had room, we said, was Forsberg, and the guy refuses to shoot the puck. I don't understand him.
No, I really, truly don't understand it. Let me get to some of the comments. Ted said, good evening, fellas. Good evening, Ted. Big win by both Canada and the States. That's Tom in London. Our boy Hubie said the ones I had last spring with bacon was the closest. Do you remember which ones he's talking about, Mike? There was one that kind of had a bacon taste, but there wasn't a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's been a couple of bites. Like you had one bite today that had bacon in it. That's about it.
One bite.
There is absolutely not one sausage we've had that I would say had bacon in it.
If somebody out there has a suggestion, we'll go find it. Like I'm not joking. When something says, I'm a firm believer, if it says it's bacon, it better taste like bacon. And, we kind of found this out when we did the burgers last year during the spring, Mike. We thought we put a lot of bacon in there. We really did. And evidently we didn't put enough bacon in there. So now when you think you have enough bacon, maybe you should double it is the best way to say it, because it doesn't seem to translate with the cook.
Yeah, there's two things. There's two things we're going to try to experiment with because we don't have the sausage making machine. So we'll experiment with the hamburgers, and we're going to, like we said, we're going to put an entire package of bacon in 2 burgers. All right. Then on the next one, on the other 2 burgers, what we're going to do is we're going to make a regular hamburger patty, and we're just going to put the bacon on the outside, not lay it on there, like press it in there so it's still classified like a bacon burger like that. Because it's like when the bacon gets inside, it gets overwhelmed by the burger, the beef, or the sausage, and you can't taste it. It's actually incredible how much bacon we had last year, and we couldn't taste it. We were so mad.
It was really there. Same thing. A couple bites that were maybe a lot of the bacon kind of coagulated. I don't even know if that's the right word, but there were a couple bites. Marner's biggest goal since the Memorial Cup. Crosby could be out for the rest of the tournament. That would be an absolute crying shame. But Mike, I don't like to play doctor. I never like to play doctor. That didn't look good, and I know there's some speculation it's the MCL.
Yeah, that's what we were reading, and the look of it was exactly what it looked like.
I don't like any second of it. So let's start with that game. That was the early game. The one thing that that makes me kind of chuckle, Mike, I don't know if you saw, this was after you left here today. The Czech coach, I guess, had kind of a mini meltdown afterwards, crying about the officiating.
I didn't see it, but I think I know where you're going with this.
Legitimately, he came out and said they don't call the game the same way. They don't call Drew Doughty the same way that they call my guys. There could have been a ton of penalties in that game. And to that point, I say, you have more of a point than I think you have. And I don't know if you were trying to be ironic, but clearly on their third goal, there were 6 men on the ice. I mean, clearly, unmistakably, I'm sure everybody out there has seen it by now. There were 6 men on the ice. A heck of an effort by them. There's no doubt about that. Give them all the credit in the world. And Shep and I talked about it last night. As strong as Canada is up front, and they are loaded up front, Mike, there are questions along their entire backside, and I think you saw a little bit of that today.
Yeah, we've been talking about the whole time that we didn't like their not only the backside. It starts with the defense, but it also ends with the goaltender. Bennington made the 2 saves that he had to.
That's why I said it. You're right. It's the entire backside.
And Bennington seems to be in championship mode. Luckily, because there's nothing standing out. I think Taves is looking pedestrian. He's getting himself involved in the play. Makar hasn't looked like Makar. I mean, but that's going to happen when you have an offensive defenseman that maybe feels like he's got to play defense. The rest of the guys have just been, all right. But it's definitely a glaring weak spot and something that you can take advantage of.
It's such a big difference from their last Olympic win. You and I were talking about this. If you remember, 2014 was boring. They were so good in their back end. That entire blue line was just sick. And oh, by the way, if you blow by them, prime Carey Price is back there, right? I mean, it was boring. You weren't going to beat that team. It's a far cry from that. And Mike, I still believe as I sit here, I don't think anybody's going to beat them. I really don't. But not for those reasons. It's because of what they have up front. And Celebrini literally growing up in front of our own 2 eyes on a nightly basis. And Nick Suzuki producing when he has to. You can go up and down that roster, and there are guys sprinkled in their top 4 lines that can stick a knife through your throat.
Yeah, and one of those guys was in the stands for the last game, and I believe Sam Bennett getting back into the lineup is going to be absolutely huge. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be at the cost of Crosby. But if they needed anything more, the rallying cry for Crosby, if he does not play and cannot play, is just going to push this over the edge. I think that may have what gave them a little bit after he got hurt in the game, but I think that's just adding to what they have.
Czech had 8 guys when they scored the third goal. It was 6, but Mickey Redmond would tell you 8 for sure. There's no doubt about that. What?
Can you see what Tom said? It looks like they're calling up another goaltender here. Craig Billington's a question mark now.
Chris Terreri, maybe. Now he's American. That's
Save Terreri.
He's an American, so Terreri's an American, right? Yeah, yes. So that might be the problem. Crazy games today. Binnington is a big question mark. There's no doubt. I said it last night, and I know one of the Canadians that watch, Ray, wasn't too happy about it. I'll take the U.S. defense corps all day. I think Team Canada is a better team. I think they're going to win the gold medal, but I think Canada's backside is by their standards, by Olympic standards, I don't think that's elite. I don't think that's top notch, Mike. I really don't.
I agree. This is something we've said since the roster was released that I'm not crazy about the U.S. forwards. I do like their defense as a crew better than the Canadians. I don't like either of their goaltenders. And I'll just be honest. They just got knocked out, but I had Sweden winning it all. I thought Sweden had the more balance between offense, defense, and goaltenders. I thought they could get it done. I just don't think they showed up really for most of the tournament. I don't think they played like I thought they would. But I love the U.S. defense. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and I mean, I'd take some of the guys that aren't dressing, that aren't playing that much over anybody.
Yep. Paul said way too close in both games. Did I mention Quinn Hughes could have been a Red Wing not once but twice? So true story. Mike and I were talking about it, and we were like, Quinn Hughes time. I'm sorry. I see it all the time in 3-on-3 in the National Hockey League. When you have that guy in your back end, all right, that can make the play up front and also be the first guy back because of his skating ability, it is such a game changer in the 3-on-3 that I watch Lane Hudson do things on a nightly basis in that format. And like literally, as Mike and I were having that conversation, Darren McCarty hit me up and he goes, it's Quinn Hughes time. And I go, Mac, I swear to God, Mike and I were just talking about it in my basement. And a couple minutes later, it happened. Paul, you know the story. Mike, you know the story. I did his games. I told anybody that would listen that I would draft that kid. Anybody that would listen. And he blew past not only the Habs, he blew past Detroit, and Vancouver got an absolute gift with him. Was it 7th? Was it 7th, if I'm not mistaken?
That's what I want to say.
Should never have happened. Should never in a million years should never have happened. What he brings to today's game, can't put a price tag on it.
No, I mean, you could be it the Habs or be it, what he would look like in a jersey, playing for your team would be amazing. We wouldn't be making the mistake that Vancouver did by letting him get away.
So, I mean, for what it's worth, Mike, you and I are both on I think Canada's winning this all. I like their forwards too much. I like their depth. The best case scenario U.S. could have was to play complete operation shutter down and hope to get those grimy goals. And they got the guys that can get those grimy goals for sure. I mean, both the Tkachuk guys are near the top of that list. But when push comes to shove, I just think there's too much up front. David Raymond has been so good for Sweden in all the games. Mo was great, and look what the Michigan boys did today. What a great tournament. Here's the big question that I have for Lucas Raymond, okay? Because we saw this last year in the Four Nations. We saw this down the stretch 2 years ago. Remember how good he was, especially, Mike, that last week of the year, those 2 Hab games, and you and I were at one of them. Can Lucas Raymond come back from a tournament like this and do it the last month of the year? Can he do it on a consistent basis, on a night-by-night basis? And I think that's the one bugaboo about Lucas Raymond right now is, Mike, you know as well as I do, there are nights you just don't hear from him. You don't see him. And I think a player of his talent, I think a player of his caliber, I don't think that should ever happen.
No, and this has obviously been a bugaboo since we started this season. Was he going to do it? He didn't do it last year. Was he going to do it this year? My question is, can he do it with guys lesser than what he's playing? That was my question today. Like, he looks good, but I mean, every time he steps out, he's with a Landeskog, a Zibanejad, Nylander, Patterson. And I don't want to hear that we want Elias Patterson on our team. The guy's a dog for his contract. I don't think he's done shit in this tournament. He hasn't done anything, but we need Raymond to do it. He needs to be the guy he is to elevate everybody else on his line. And he's got to do it with the number 3 hardest schedule coming up the end of the year.
Here's a great question. Paul asks, is the NDTP closing the gap between Canada and the USA? I have some thoughts on that. May I pontificate? I think the answer to that is no. But what I do think is, I think the U.S. has done a phenomenal job of developing top defensemen. Phenomenal job. They really have. And I think if you think of some of the names in the league right now, I mean, hell, look at the top 4 in regards to favorites to win the Norris Trophy this year. Werenski, obviously Quinn Hughes, Lane Hudson. You know, those are 3 names right there, with the other one being the favorite, Makar. I think they've done a tremendous job in developing defensemen. Mike, for whatever reason, it just doesn't seem to me like they have that all-world guy up front, that awe-inspiring guy. They got the sandpaper, they got the grit. They have guys that you go to war with. In my opinion, I think the disappearing goalie in North America is quizzical. I don't get it. I mean, if you think of the best goalies, and this is why so many people, including both of us, I would love to see Russia in this tournament. Love to see Russia in this tournament. I don't think it's right that they're not in it. I got to be honest with you. It's not their fault that their leader is a crazy person. But Mike, you and I were talking about down the basement today. Bob, Sorokin, Shesterkin, Vasilevsky, okay? Any one of those 4 goalies could go start for any one of these teams. I firmly believe it. I firmly believe it. So I don't think that the NTDP is catching up. But with that being said, I hope my friends from the NDTP are not pissed at me. I work there, and Mike, the NTDP's done a great job, and it continues to do a great job. You're going to be hard pressed to catch Canada. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've done a nice job. They put some nice teams together. We every so often we kind of rule that top of the draft, and as you just said with the top defenseman. But I mean, it's kind of a weird question as it closes. I mean, where we're going to be. Is that good to say? Like it's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think we have the numbers. Our numbers are decreasing, as we see all the time within hockey. So it's going to make it even harder. But hey, we compete. You know, that's all I can say.
I think Lucas and Dylan will come back stronger than 4 nations. That tourney was so physical compared to Olympics. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. And Lucas has got to find that consistency. He has got to find that consistency. Off the record, are you telling us something off the record but want us to talk about it, Paul? I got to get clarification on that. I gotta get. I don't want to say something here if you're telling me off the record, even though this is, but everybody else can see it, so I don't want to say it. Mike, I have been a fan of the Swiss game, the Swiss model, and their own NTDP, if you will. And I'm not going to lie to you, because I have a bunch of Finnish friends. I was pulling something hard for Swiss hockey today. It really was, for them, such a small country that's put such an emphasis on developing guys and bringing guys up in the system. This close today. But every tournament, man, if the Swiss haven't proven to you that they are a serious threat and a force to be reckoned with, I don't know what you're watching.
Yeah, you went as far as adopting a Swiss accent and giving me a history on the Swiss and the breakdown of what languages they speak in what region. It was incredible. So for all your Finn friends out there, he stabbed you in the back. He was openly rooting for them. But great, that was a great effort. It's you hope they can keep it going, because if you look at what Germany did for a couple of years in the Cider and Stutzel and stuff like that, they started to turn things around, and they kind of plateau. They kind of go like this. Adding another name into the mix would be great, but what an effort today. They totally shut down Finland, seriously, until the last 8 minutes of that third period, where someone happened to throw a bet on them. And I think that guy was a genius.
And by the way, with a 38-year-old goaltender who plays in the Swiss Elite League.
What a story.
That's the guy that was doing it. A 38-year-old goaltender. Now, granted, he has won their goalie of the year, which, by the way, is called the Jacques Plante Award. He's won the goalie of the year in Switzerland numerous times. But at the end of the day, Mike, this isn't a heralded guy that even had a plethora of time in the old IHL or the AHL or the NHL. This has been a Swiss club guy, and he's 38 years old. Fantastic story, really is.
It was a fantastic story, Sean. But as we get closer to the high school finals, we have this conversation a lot. I think it would have been a shame if they did get through what Canada would have done to them and that goalie. Just my opinion. Yeah, it would have been one of those, like the great story. Cinderella would have went home really fast. But yeah, great story. I think it's going to be another great day of hockey on Friday.
Like that Swiss coach said a couple of days ago, what can I do? They have 14, how many you say? 14 first-round pick. I have one fourth-round pick.
Like, he's from what region? He's from what region speaking French?
En français. Yeah, literally, like Lausanne is more French down there, because you're right across Lake Geneva. You're right across from Evian, France. And then you go north, it's more Germanic up there.
Look at this. You are Team Swiss.
Yeah,
I like it.
Swiss is coming on in the World Junior Tournament as well. You're right, Tom. It starts at the youth level. They've really made a concerted effort to produce and develop and everything, and it shows. Canada hasn't produced a solid goalie for a while. That comes from Tom, and I'm not going to argue with that in any way, shape, or form. And Mike, isn't that crazy? Because you and I grew up in an era where there were so many great goalies in the NHL, and usually they had one thing in common: they were Canadian goalies.
Yeah, I mean, and now we're looking at the next goalie we're waiting for is what, Augustine?
Right. I mean, it's amazing. It's an American.
Yeah,
and Fowler, American. It's crazy. Where's the think about it, Mike? Like way back in the day, Esposito, Dryden, then moving up, Hasek was in there, but you had Belfour, you had Cujo, you had obviously Marty Brodeur. It was, for a while it was like, all right, the butterfly goaltender and the kid coming out of Quebec is a big thing. And it's been some time since you've seen that guy come out of Canada. It's really weird.
Well, I mean, again, we've been talking about this. Just look at this tournament. It's not best on best, so people need to stop saying that, because Russia is not there. It is a very nice tournament, but when you look at it, the best goalies are Russian, and they're at home right now. Like there's no top. They're not to be found anywhere. I mean, there's some young guys coming up, but it's the Russians and nobody else, which is crazy.
Before we get out of here, Mike, who do you like on Friday? Are we staring down the inevitable? Or are we staring down the? Listen, I will say this: I think Slovakia has a better chance to beat the United States than Finland has to beat Canada. But I don't see the upset in either one of them. What are you feeling?
I think you took the words right out of my mouth. Watching the Finland game today, we were talking, and I just don't think they're going to be deep enough up front. And I'll tell you, you get Rantanen at about 19 to 20 minutes, he's one of the best players in the world. As soon as he tips over those numbers, you get what you saw today, a sloppy mess. Aho had a couple good shifts towards the end of the game, got the first goal. going. I just don't think they're deep enough up there. I think they're going to get worn down. I think Bennington has gotten back to his championship form. How this guy does it, I've got no idea. I'm worried about the U.S. I just am. I think Slovakia can out-dirty them. I didn't like what I saw today against Sweden. They locked them out, but you've got to score goals. You can't. You're not going to win 2-1. They might against Slovakia, but I think Slovakia's got the best chance out of the two to upset them, and then everyone's going to get what they want: a Canada-U.S. Rematch.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So once again, 10:40 Canada and Finland on Friday. 3:10 the United States and Slovakia. Should be a blast. Mike, I wish I was joining you tomorrow. I know you're going to be out at Novi Ice Arena. I have to be up at State the next couple of nights. One for my daughter, the other one for Michigan State and Notre Dame. But I'm sure we'll catch up sometime over the weekend, pal. And let me know what's going on tomorrow. Some big action on Novi tomorrow.
Yep, I'll keep you posted tomorrow, and during that Caledonia game on Saturday, I'll let you know what's going on.
Outstanding. All right, for my buddy Mike, I'm Sean saying peace. See you later. Bye-bye. And I'm sure we'll talk it sometime next week. And
Yep.
really, we
What the Puck with Sean Baligian. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Always Pushing Forward by Elliot Middleton. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.